Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Jev, and we're just gonna be playing some Call of Duty here, just chill. Not really sure exactly how I'm gonna title this video, but about a week or so ago, ended up sending me like this big care package. FaZe has been partnered and sponsored with Scuff for the longest time at this point, and over the years, they send us a lot of different custom controllers. You get like the Xbox One controllers in here, you got the Scuff Impact over here, which is my personal favorite. Got one of the PS4 controllers right here. The biggest thing, it's basically a custom controller that helps you do more with the controller, since we're as restricted as we are, I guess. Now this is the one that they just sent me. Now it seems plain, okay, with the silver or whatever, and honestly I haven't used a silver controller since like PlayStation 2.
Fucking moist.
Jev, your shit.
I'm better than you.
For the forest.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So this is the controller that I used on a normal basis. This actually has 4 paddles on it, but I only leave 2 on there. I took the middle ones out. It's just way easier for me to reach this. Now my fingers are already kind of weird with the way that they're placed. A lot of people, whenever they're getting these controllers, they're usually getting them so they don't have to play claw or anything, but I still play claw even with this controller. So most of the time people will be holding a controller like this, the normal, quote, normal way, right? Me, I personally like to play like this on a normal basis, and I just use my middle finger to shoot on this side. There's even times where I don't want to end up taking my finger off of anything, and I'll actually stretch my finger over to move this stick. Like, I'd be doing some stupid shit, but I'm just pointing that out just in case my fingers end up looking weird. It's just a habit. So I went from this, got the PS4 stick placements, first of all. That's probably the biggest thing I would say on this controller, besides the big thing that makes this Scuff Vantage, which is a new one. Having these paddles makes it easier to be able to jump around and do other things without having to take your finger off of the stick or your pointer finger off of anything. I usually use my pointer finger for all the face buttons here, whether it's like swapping weapons, reloading, things like that. This one has the PS4 stick placements. This one has a 360 placement. It does feel a little weird since I've been so used to the PS4 controller for so long. It's very strange because usually on something that's shaped like a 360 controller like this, usually you have the sticks like this one, not like the PS4. So I just got used to like this very strange layout, but it's definitely my preferred way. But there's really no issue with having the 360 stick layout. Just basically only swapping the position of the D-pad and the stick. Now you're probably saying, okay, then what's the difference? Is it the more paddles on the back? Is it something crazy like that? The buttons definitely feel different. I'm not sure if it's just because it's a brand new crispy controller, so things are a little bit more absolute. Whenever you're pressing a button, you really feel it. Nothing really sinks, it clicks. You can feel it. It feels great. It's really got that new controller feel to it. Obviously that's not going to be specific to this controller, but it feels really nice for sure. The biggest difference between this and that, not just those sticks, and the main reason why the Scuff Vantage even came to be, but this controller actually has extra buttons on it. Not just extra paddles, it's extra buttons. There's 2 extra buttons now. They're side buttons or shoulder buttons, whatever you want to call them. S1, S2. At the moment, if I try to use it, it's programmed to left trigger and right trigger. So I can actually kind of run around and play using these side buttons. I can run around. And this left click here, this button on this side allows me to scope in. This one on this side has me shoot. Now for Call of Duty, it probably isn't that big of a deal. I also believe that the thing can be like completely remapped too, so you can just put whatever button in whatever place like you always could with all the other stuff. Immediately after I took this controller out of the case, I immediately thought to myself, this would actually be really, really useful for Fortnite. Something like that. Especially now in Fortnite, since you can, you know, program certain buttons and assign certain buttons to certain actions now. This would be fucking huge for me if I actually played Fortnite on a normal basis on console. And to be honest with you guys, from the beginning, if I had this controller, it might have been actually an easier time and thought process if I had these extra buttons in the first place on the controller. It's not that there's anything really wrong with the layout of buttons or anything like that on Fortnite on console, but it's just nice to have the customization and the possibility to be able to do that. So if any of you guys out there play Fortnite on console, this controller is, yeah, that definitely, these extra buttons definitely help. But if you like the customization and you like all the things that you could potentially do with it, it's there. I'm just gonna pop this one off here on the back. See, I don't usually use 4 paddles. They usually come with 4 paddles at this point. All you have to do is just press the paddle up and you can just take it off. Place the paddles back inside of its box or whatever. I'm not sure what things I would assign to these buttons if I were to just be playing Call of Duty. But I feel like there are people out there that could think of what these things could probably be better used as. I'm just not sure what. Call of Duty doesn't require you to have too many buttons pressed all the time, so that's the great thing about it. But yeah, Fortnite is a different story. For sure, I feel like once you get used to using something like this, it's gonna be the same exact thing as when I switched from a normal controller to a normal Scuff. I got my first Scuff to be able to use the paddles on the back, and although I was still playing claw, I could definitely missing the paddles whenever I get a controller that doesn't have the paddles on there. I noticed a big difference in my play between the 360 to the regular Scuff controller, and I'm sure if I were to actually use these side buttons on this thing, I just feel like it would improve my play yet again. This controller is basically a fucking fucking transformer. It's pretty ridiculous, I'll admit, yes. It's very over the top, but hey, after a while, sometimes you might feel like you're hitting a plateau, or maybe you'll even just get bored with, you know, how easily you've been shitting on people at all times. This could improve your play even further and also give you a nice little challenge at the start to, you know, something else to get used to. I just definitely need to get back into the swing of things using the controller and everything. So I'm just gonna grind the ever-living shit out of Black Ops 4. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see where everybody ends up allocating all their time. I'm definitely more of a multiplayer than a battle royale type of person or a zombies person, but I'm just happy to have the choice. Hoping that everybody can just benefit from, you know, just being the best in their respective modes or whatever type of style of play that they have. There's so many people that haven't played Call of Duty for so long at this point that they don't even know who the best snipers are, who the best red gunners are, the best pub stompers, the best pros. They don't know any of this shit. It's just gonna be really cool to see people come back and see all of the best snipers and best Blackout players and just the best Call of Duty players in general. It's just gonna be really cool to see again. This may actually be very useful for Blackout as well, since the controls have felt a little clunky. We don't know exactly what type of changes are gonna be made to the whole inventory system or how the controls are gonna be as far as the differences go between beta and full release. I can't imagine there'd be too much of a difference, but if anything could be assigned to new places or if there's certain layouts and stuff, I could definitely see this controller being just working very well in general for the game modes that typically just require more menus and different items, and so it may even be really good for Blackout or any other BR that you play on console or anything. Although I do feel like most people are probably gonna play Blackout on PC, which is a really weird thing for me to say. Call of Duty has always been more of a console game than PC. This is the first year where it genuinely feels like the PC version of the game isn't just some port from console. There are gonna be people out there that haven't played Call of Duty in years. They don't know how the community is. They don't know the players and all that shit. There are going to be people out there that haven't played in years that are gonna be able to just blow up this year. It's just super exciting to think about just for the community as a whole. And all the people that were already here that have just been playing this entire time are just gonna be there. People are gonna know. This is gonna be so good. Be sure to check out the Scuff Vantage or any of the other Scuffs if you want. Obviously, if you don't feel like spending the money, completely understandable. I completely get that. But I always make a video on these controllers every single time I go and get a new one because it is honestly kind of difficult to not mention using a new controller because you just feel, everything feels different and everything feels new and crisp and it just feels like a refresher for you. If you've been playing a game or using the same controller for a long time and you just go and get a new one, it feels so nice and it makes you want to break it in and make it feel like it's yours. By the way, yesterday's video, the boxes, I mean, boxes have been weird for a while now at this point, for like over 2 weeks, but if you didn't see yesterday's video, I made a video on Warface, and that game is something else, so if you want to go and watch some shit that's something else, go and check that out anyway. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. My most recent videos are popping up on the screen here. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, and yeah, it's been Jev, guys. Later.